tingles we fly by. Welcome to Glowing Adventures Cave. We're really excited to have you today. We do have a personalized tour set out for you to go through the lovely caves that we're lucky enough to have here on our farm. So we do have our normal tour sizes are 2 to 6 people, and you two are the only 2 we have today. So we'll get to give you a really up close and personal tour of these wonderful glowworm caves. So first, I always just like to explain why you've made such a good decision by coming to Glowing Adventures. So obviously the first thing is you can't get a more personalized tour. We do live on the caves. The tour guides who'll be taking you through have grown up in these caves and study the glowworms themselves and just the geology and the biology of the caves. So they're quite knowledgeable about them and just very passionate about what we do. The other benefit you get here is we take care of all your clothing requirements. So we have mud boots for you, we have thermal underwear, and all your outside clothes as well. And we'll give you a headlamp as well, so you'll be able to see your way in the caves. Obviously we'll need to turn those off when we get into the glowworm areas to not scare them off. Well, it's more so it can actually do damage to the glowworms. So we just like to, so afterwards you'll come back, you'll take a nice hot shower in our lovely facilities, and then you'll just be able to get back into your clothes and be nice and dry and warm and have a lovely tea and biscuit. It's just something nice we like to do to make it not just all about trying to funnel as many people through as possible, but to really give you an in-depth and enjoyable experience, but without having to worry about those sort of details. So that's our basic setup. The other benefits you have about coming here is that these caves are untouched. We haven't built any railings, we haven't dug anything out. These are left in the same condition as we found them hundreds of years ago. So it's just a really, really natural experience, and a lot of people find that very, very enjoyable. So on the 3-hour tour, you will spend a minimum of 2 hours under the ground. So you get a lot of time in the caves. We will have a brief safety overview for you first, just discussing all the protocols and everything like that, such as that we do have a rope there for you where it heads everywhere we go. You will be latched onto a rope, and that rope heads all the way and is anchored outside the cave. And that's just for everybody's safety and for navigation, so that if anybody gets turned around, nobody's going to get lost. It's a big peace of mind as well. So we'll have a little bit of a safety presentation, and then we just start walking out to the caves. They are only about a 5 or 10 minute walk, and you'll get to go through the lovely New Zealand bush, some lovely greenery and plants around, and we'll point out some of that to you. And then you'll arrive to the entrance to the caves. It's got this lovely, lovely green colored rocks, bit of an opening, and then you just kind of descend into a bit of darkness, and it just gradually gets darker. So this is a genuine caving experience. So you're going to be able to crawl under and through and around things. It's a challenge, but it's part of what makes it worth it. It's really, really enjoyable. So the reason we have prepared you clothes is we want to make sure you're going to stay warm. The water can be quite cool in the caves, and you will be walking through rivers in the caves. So you'll be walking through caves, bending down and going through little nooks and crannies. And we will take you into 2 caverns where we have the guest of honor, the Arachnacampo, which is the official name for the glowworms that we have here. The Arachnacampo is a species of glowworm, so it's actually not a worm at all. It is an insect, and they are a flying insect, but they spend most of their life in a larva stage, which is why they're called worms, because they're in that kind of larva stage. So when they emerge from their eggs, they are really, really tiny. They're 3 to 5 millimeters big, long. Yeah, so they're really, really little tiny. And they will feed on animals that they trap in the caves. So what they do is they sit on the top of the cave ceiling, and then they drop down about 70 each, they will, what are called silks. And so you'll see those, and they have little bits of mucus on them as well to make them sticky. And so each little larva will drop down 70 of these. And they have mucus on them, and then with the glowing of the glowworms, so the glowworms here do have a bluish color. So if you were a fly or a moth or something like that, and you were looking up, you might think you were under the night sky, just looking at some beautiful, beautiful stars. And so that is how the glowworms do attract their prey, who then get caught in the strings, and then the larva can eat them. So the larvae do live for about 6 to 12 months in the larva stage, and they will trap foods and everything like that in that phase. They will grow from that 3 to 5 millimeters out to about 3 centimeters long, so you can get some nice little bit of length on those beautiful worms. So the reaction that happens within the glowworm is a combination of a couple different compounds and chemicals, and it combines with ATP and oxygen as well. And so when those things all combine, it releases light. And it's a very, very efficient process. So a good way to understand it is, so the most energy efficient lights that we've been able to create as humans have 22% efficiency, but this process that happens within the glowworms, they are pretty much 100% efficient. So all of the energy that they're putting into that is being put out into light. And so they are quite good at tricking their prey, getting them wrapped in their little silk strings, and then being able to utilize that as a food source. So once they reach the end of their larva stage, they do go into a pupa stage, and they're in that stage for about 1 to 2 weeks. At that point, the males start to lose their bioluminescence, and the females actually start to glow brighter. And that is so when they reach their adult phase, the males will be able to find the females, because they're in a cave, so it's quite dark. So the males know to go to the really bright females, and they're the ones that they can mate with. So the adults are very poor flyers, and they also cannot eat anything. So they have very short lives as adults. They breed very quickly. The females lay eggs. They usually will lay about 130 eggs. And because they can't fly very well, it'll usually just be right in one spot, so they don't spread their eggs all around. So you'll get these clumps of larvae all in one area from where they were laid. So the females will lay their eggs, and then the males and females will die. And then the next generation will take up, and they start glowing again. So it's a beautiful, beautiful process of mainly young and then a few really bright adults, and they just have these gorgeous, gorgeous strings with all this glowing light. And it's in some ways more beautiful than the night sky, I think. But I guess you'll get to make your own decision on that in just a little bit. So we will take you into 2 caverns, as I said, so you'll get to see the glowworms and spend some time with them and just really admire them in their natural habitat, and you just get to really get the experience of going in and under, because these are the types of places where they evolved. They didn't evolve really close to any cave entrances. You have to go deep in to find where these glowworms evolved. So it's a really, really great experience, and I'm really excited for you. You're gonna have a lot of fun. So we do have your clothing all prepared, so I'll just give that to you. So we'll just hand that over. So you can just go over into the changing rooms, get all dressed into those, and then we'll head over into that room for your brief safety briefing, and then you'll get to have a lovely walk over to the caves. Okay. Well, I'm really glad that you've come in today. You're going to have a lovely, lovely time. And I just hope you can fall in love with the glowworms just like I have. Yeah. No, they're just absolutely spectacular. Were there any questions that you had for me before you change? Otherwise, of course, we can answer them all throughout the tour and on your safety briefing as well. Okay. Well, there you go. Just go ahead and head that way. And if you need any sort of drinks or anything like that before you go in, there is a fridge over there with bottles of water, juices, teas, that sort of thing. And then, of course, afterwards we usually serve some hot tea and biscuits as well. Okay? Okay, well, see you soon.